Hello everyone, it's 1987 Collector again, and I've been thinking about this video for a while, kind of how I wanted to do it, but this is just a video on fun and unusual baseball cards. So this first one here is put out by Upper Deck. This is junk wax era essentially only. I don't have any really old stuff or new stuff in here. This is primarily junk wax cards. So this is a reproduction of the cigarette Trifold cards. They did several variations of this one. This one's Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron. It's got Willie Mays in the middle there. But they have ones with Mickey Mantle, several different variations, but they're pretty cheap to pick up, but just the color and everything on them, they're great looking cards. So if you're interested in the old cards or you think they look cool, they can be cheap to pick up and put in the collection. This is, if you remember, I think it's 1933, 34, they did the heads up baseball cards back in the day. Joe Dimaggio is one of the more popular ones, but this was Score, and I believe it was 91 Score, wasn't it? Is this 91 Score? 91 Score? They did a version of these only for 1 year, but they're kind of fun, cartoonish all-star cards. A lot better than some of the other offerings of all-star cards, in my opinion. It's one fun card. These are 1988 Topps as an example. But you see it has a blue border instead of a white border. And these were the cards that you can get off the bottom of the boxes. So there's a variant of the base card that's in the set that you can get off the bottom of the box. So this is a Mike Schwitt. Pretty good condition. These are all going to be hand cut. So this one is decent considering. This is the Kmart Superstars Topps card, and this is very iconic, nostalgic for me because I had this set as a kid, and just the borders, the colors, everything kind of screams that time period for me. Maybe so for you if you guys had these, but these are fun and unusual. Then we get into some food cards. So this is a Procter & Gamble Tony Gwynn, I believe from 93, Wonder Bread Kirby Pucket, and Post. These were the greatest because you could still get these baseball cards in cereal boxes then. It was like baseball cards in everything back in the late 80s, early 90s. There's another Post, Sandy Alomar. It's Rookie Stars. These are Hostess cards, Gary Sheffield and Strawberry. This is a Ken Griffey Jr. from Denny's. They had these hologram cards that were pretty cool. This is a 93 Rookies for Mike Piazza. Then I'd seen this card around for years. I just recently picked up some of them, but this is a 95 Pinnacle Big Bubble Griffey. There's actually a couple versions of this. This is the base version. And then there's actually one from the museum collection that has a little stamp on the back that'll say that. That's a little more valuable than these, but this is a really fun card, especially for kids. This is just kind of random, but this is the huge baseball bat card from 93 Topps for Kirby Pucket. And this card is 93 Upper Deck, but I always thought it was so cool. The guy has his baseball card in his hand and the picture of him holding his baseball card in the picture. I don't know how they did that, but it's a no-name guy, but a fun card. These, if you had this subscription as a kid, and I did, I'm sure you had some of these, the Sports Illustrated for Kids cards. A lot of them, they had like swimmers in there, gymnasts, skiers, you name it. But I really just cared about the baseball cards. There's a Ron Gant and Sandy Alomar. This, I was going through cards to get for this. I'd never really paid attention to this card before, but this is Dave Dravecky. If you're familiar with his story, he battled with cancer in his pitching arm. I believe he ended up eventually having to have it amputated. But this is recovering from his first couple bouts with cancer. He has his arm in a sling. It's unusual to see on a baseball card. It has giant courage story about everything he's been through in the back of the card. This, I'm a Mets fan, so I had this in my collection, but this is Howard Johnson and what I assume to be his son on the card here. It doesn't say anything on the back, but I don't think it's a random fan. I just thought that was cool to be able to have your, 2-year-old son on the baseball card with you. And then the Pro Vision set. So I'll start here at 92. Some people love this set. They hate it. Other people. But I really like it personally. They're kind of unusual and fun and kind of artistic spin on them, depending on whatever the theme was. But these are from 92. This is Nolan Ryan. He's got the hash marks in the back for all of his strikeouts. David Justice when he was with the Braves. And then this is the 91 set, which I think, maybe would have had more of a following, gotten more love, if it was not part of the yellow, school bus yellow 91 Fleer set. Of course, all these have black borders, which, when you look into getting them graded, means they're harder to grade, and you find less and less of them in a high grade. So Will Clark, Mike Greenwell, Dale Strawberry, one for Ruben Sierra in Texas, Kirby Pucket, Eric Davis. And this, if you look at the styling of this versus the new Topps 2020 card, the All-American card, I think they call it by Jameson. He's got the 87 border and stance, but he's got the American flag in the background. And I wondered if he didn't pull that image, the background image, off of kind of modeling this card. But this is a cool, very cool card in my opinion. And then you have the white version, which is the borders white. My understanding is that these were part of the set. If you bought the set, they were white. If you got them out of a pack, they would be black bordered. I've seen much fewer white bordered cards out there than black bordered cards. These are the Diamond King set from 92 Donruss. To me, these are the most well done, nicest version of the Diamond Kings that they made. These were more embossed. They had better pictures. I mean, they almost look like a canvas themselves. Very well done in my opinion. And this is my favorite year for Diamond Kings. So this was Doc Gooden, Randy Johnson, Kirby Pucket, Frank Thomas, and there's the Mark Mcgwire. And this was, I think Dick Perez was still doing them at this time. And then all of us, I believe, chased the Elites. So this is I actually pack pulled this exact card as a kid. I believe it was 93 Donruss. This is the Legend series. And all these, of course, back then were numbered to 10,000. Doesn't want to focus for me. But, everything was mass produced. This was a variant of a, early short print. But these were high dollar cards back then, and some of them still are. And then I have the Elite Series, Mark Mcgwire. In early 80s, there were several variations to the Topps card. So you had Topps, same style. Then you had O-Pee-Chee, the different logo in the same style. And then you would have the Nestle card. So this is, Nestle Food Company. They put these out, and to my knowledge, they made the whole set. I don't think it was just a few cards. But it would be identical to the Topps card. See the Nestle logo on the back too. except everything was the same, but your logo instead of Topps would be Nestle. So it's kind of a fun variant from the early 80s cards. This is the Russ Learning Set. As you can see, this is 1990 Russ. And this was, I think this was a shortened set, but they sent like study guides to classrooms and just to educate the students about baseball and card collecting and kind of get them interested in it. So it'll be, the border's the same as Russ 1990, but it'll have this little logo on here, which is different. This is just a promotional 1993 Topps Donnie Baseball. And they put these out, I think they came out in advance of the set, just to kind of let collectors and dealers get a look at what they're going to be like. But this is a pre-production sample of the card. You see those sometimes. Topps Black Gold. I think these were these one in every pack? I can't remember the odds on these, but I know they were also a giveaway. You could get a card and send it in, and you get so many in the mail. But these were fun to chase back in the day. That's a Mcgwire. This is, I wish it was a real 52 mantle, of course, but this is actually a reprint. This is from the East Coast National in 1991. So every national will usually have a certain number of cards, usually iconic key cards, that they will have printed up and distribute at that national. So that's kind of something as a keepsake, and later on you can hold on to and collect. These next two cards are kind of fun. So this is a 1985 version of Jose Canseco, but to my understanding, it is a fake. It is like a home print job, something that was not distributed by any actual card company, but sold kind of black market style back in the day. And so is this. This is a 85 version of Will Clark, the card that did not exist. Somebody made these somewhere and sold them. This is the card that's blown up now. This is Score Bow Nose from 1990 Score with his pads and his baseball bat. That's a fun card, and if you didn't already have one, you might be paying more for it now. This is another kind of fun set, the Toys R Us Collector's Edition Rookies. This is the Barry Bonds, and I also have the Mark Mcgwire. So just yet another store that had their own sets of baseball cards. These are some combination cards that I like. This is Griffey and Bonds from 91 Fleer. Despite the fact it's 91 Fleer, I think it's a really cool card. This is a Bash Brothers from 87 Donruss, I believe. This is 87 Leaf, I'm sorry. So I don't know if it's in the Leaf variant or the Donruss variant they came out with this, because the blue border's throwing me off, but that's a cool card. And you know, depending on these, there's a lot of these variant cards with different people on them, but you know, this is Pucket, Rice, and Mcgwire. I'm sorry, Canseco, Rice, and Pucket. That's a fun card. It's another Bash Brothers unofficial Oakland's team from 88 Fleer. This is the top set, the Desert Shield. So they sent a bunch of these over in Desert Storm to the soldiers. Not a lot of them made it back. So they're mostly, I understand they even like threw them in fire pits for fuel over there. They really took a beating. So there's not a lot of them left on the market. So they're more valuable than 91 Topps. And then we got a couple movie cards here to finish us off. This is from Mr. Baseball, Tom Selleck and Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas is featured in that movie. And finally, Mr. 3000, Bernie Mac. This is a premiere card. But I really enjoy the baseball movies that have cards that were put out along with them. I think that's fun. So I'm sure you got your own versions of cards that you like. your own cards kind of in this wheelhouse that you enjoy, but those are some of the ones that I like. But thanks for joining me. I'm going to see you next time.